What is up, you guys? I'll be back for another video, and today I'm going to be doing a spoiler review on Thunderbolts. So if you have not seen the movie, then there will be spoilers. So, yeah, there's your warning. And before we start, obviously I did talk a little bit about the movie already on my friend's channel, LWFTW, where we talked about all of the MCU Phase 5 movies. So if you saw that video, then obviously you know my thoughts on the movie, pretty much. And I do want to point out also that I will be doing another video like that on this channel, except in the one I'll be doing on here, it will be with the shows included, and that will be once Ironheart is out and done, because obviously Ironheart is still yet to come out, and that will be the end of Phase 5 of the MCU, so once that show comes out, then I will be doing a whole video on Phase 5 of the MCU, so yeah, just thought I'd point that out. Yeah, but let's get into Thunderbolts, shall we? Now, when this movie was first announced, like everyone else, I was just kind of like, really? I mean, okay, I don't know, like, okay, sure. Then they announced the lineup for the team, and I was like, okay, this is a decent lineup, maybe this could work. I was still kind of like, whatever on it. Then the trailers started coming out, and dude, by the first trailer itself, I immediately got excited because just the movie looked really cool. It looked kind of different from other MCU and just Marvel movies in general. So I got really excited for the movie after they put out the first trailer. And yes, I know I keep messing with my hair. I'm sorry. But then they kept putting out more trailers, obviously, and more marketing. And I just kept getting more and more excited for the movie. And after seeing the movie, I can say that, yeah, it's everything I wanted it to be. I loved Thunderbolts. I had such a great time with this movie, and I'm not even joking. I feel like maybe after a few more watches, this could become my favorite MCU movie. I'm not even joking. Like, as of right now, it's definitely top 5, and it'll probably stay top 5, even if I, wouldn't or don't consider it my favorite. Because as of right now, my favorite MCU movie is Avengers: Infinity War, but I could see Thunderbolts maybe going above that to number 1, and that's including obviously all the TV shows. So, yeah, I had a great time with Thunderbolts. Again, I've only seen it once, and I do plan on seeing it again in theaters, but as of right now, just after one watch, I already loved it. So, let's get into, like, what I loved about the movie. For one, probably my favorite thing about the movie was the characters, all right? Because, that was one thing I was looking forward to, was most of the characters in the movie. And yeah, all the characters in this movie were great. I think the two best characters easily were Yelena and Bob, aka the Sentry. I think Yelena herself was so good in this movie. Like, I already loved her character before this movie. Like, I thought she was one of the best parts of Black Widow, a movie I did not like. And then I really enjoyed her in Hawkeye. And yeah, she was at her best in this movie. I really enjoyed her character arc here. And I think Florence Pugh gave an amazing performance, probably one of the best performances of this phase of the MCU. So I loved Yelena. I thought she was great. And then pretty much the same exact thing with Bob the Sentry. It was also one of my favorite characters. I really, really enjoyed like the different personalities he had as, Bob, as Robert, and as the Sentry and the Void. I thought Louis Pullman himself did a great job. It's like I know a lot of people keep saying like recently since the movie came out, people are like, oh, thank God Stephen Young didn't play Sentry, because obviously Stephen Young was supposed to play Sentry, but then they recasted him with Louis Pullman. I have not seen Stephen Young in a lot of stuff, so I'm not going to be like other people saying, oh, thank God, because Stephen Young probably would have done good, but I am very glad that they did get Louis Pullman, because he did such a good job playing this role. So yeah, and I love the Sentry, and I thought he was a great addition to the MCU. And yeah, and as far as the other characters go, John Walker I thought was great, and John Walker has been a character I've been dying to see return in the MCU, because he was one of my favorite parts of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And yeah, like I said, I've just been dying to see him return, because I also think he's one of the best writing characters in the MCU post-Endgame, honestly. And I still stand by that after this movie. I really enjoyed John in this movie. He's still that lovable asshole, even though, like I said, yeah, he's an asshole, but he's still lovable. You still feel bad for him, and just what he's gone through. So I loved John in this movie. I also loved Red Guardian. He was also one of my favorite parts of the Black Widow movie, and here he was great once again. It was a lot of fun, And that scene with him and Yelena at the end, where, you know, Red Guardian's like giving Yelena the speech when she's breaking down, I thought was one of the best parts of the movie. It was such a great scene. And even characters like Ghost, who I did not really like all that much in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I thought she was kind of a mediocre villain. I really enjoyed her in this movie. I thought she was pretty fun. And then even Bucky, who I feel like didn't have a lot to do, especially like when he joined the team, I still enjoyed Bucky. And I think the main reason he didn't have a lot to do was because he's kind of gone through what most of the team has already gone through, you know? So I think that was why Bucky didn't really go through, you know, much of anything. Because again, we've already seen Bucky's backstory and all the grief he's had and has gone through throughout the MCU. But I still loved having Bucky there, of course. I think Bucky is a great character. Of course, I think probably the best character in the movie was Taskmaster. I think Taskmaster was handled great. You know, especially the few seconds of screen time we get with her, and then she just gets shot in the head. Like, okay, let's be real. Okay, it was obvious she was gonna die because, like, even Marvel themselves was making it obvious through the marketing, because there was just, like, little to no footage of her. And obviously the whole thing of, like, the Avengers Doomsday Cast announcement, she was the only Thunderbolt member that was left out. And also, I think it also would have been obvious from this, I just want to point this out, she was the only character who, if you look at all, like, the posters for the movies, she was the only character who, like, who was wearing her mask in every poster, which I know seems like a weird thing to point out. And yes, I know this review is just all about me fix my stupid hair. I know, I hate my hair. But yeah, if you look at all the posters and marketing for this movie, we never saw the actress's face, and I'm just saying, Marvel loves to just show the actor's face and not, you know, the mask as much. Yes, there were some posters of, like, US Agent and the Red Guardian wearing their helmets, but there were a lot of other posters where they were unmasked. Again, except for Taskmaster. She was literally the only one of the whole team who was just wearing her mask through every piece of marketing. So I'm just saying, I thought that was obvious too, because, you know, Marvel loves to, you know, just have their heroes be maskless, which is an issue I've had, especially recently. But still, when she died, she just gets headshot, and she's still wearing her mask, by the way. She's still wearing her mask, the bullet still goes through her. Maybe Ghost had, like, a special gun. I don't know, but I still thought that was funny. And then they wooed her. They just wooed her body, and then we bring it up, like, once after the fact that she died. You know, you get Elena's like, oh yeah, she had a rough childhood. It's like, damn, you gotta feel bad for that character. I don't remember her real name, but you gotta feel bad for, you know, yeah, Taskmaster. You gotta feel bad for her. She just, you know, goes through, you know, everything she went through her life, and in Black Widow, and then she just gets shot in the head in this movie. It was still funny though, and I'm honestly kind of glad Taskmaster died, because I thought Taskmaster was handled horribly in Black Widow. And I think this definitely opens the door for us to get a more accurate, better version of Taskmaster down the road. So hopefully we do get that. But yeah, the whole Taskmaster death thing was funny. I also think Val herself was fine in this movie. I've never been a big fan of Val so far. I mean, she hasn't been in that many projects. Obviously, she was in Falcon Winter Soldier, Black Widow, and Black Panther 2. But, you know, I just haven't been a huge fan of her still, and I do think she's at her best in this movie. I wouldn't say she was great, but, you know, she was fine. So, you know, that's something. And I gotta say, I love how practical this movie is. Of course, a lot of this movie was filmed on real locations and everything, and I freaking love that, because of course Marvel, over the last few years, has been known for overusing green screen and all that. But in this movie, you can tell it's all real and on set, which I loved. So yeah. I do gotta say, I did love how powerful Sentry was, because of course that was a big thing going into the movie. Everyone was like, how the hell are the Thunderbolts gonna defeat Sentry? And they technically don't. They really don't. They try fighting him at one point in the Avengers Tower, which is now the Watchtower, which I will say is kind of anticlimactic reveal, you know, for who bought Avengers Tower, because that was like a big mystery for so long, and it was just Val. Not going to count that as a con, but it is underwhelming, which I think a lot of people can agree on. But, you know, they're fighting there, and you can tell Sentry's holding back his punches, you know. And then even when Val orders him to kill them, he says, no, what are they going to do? You know, they're no threat to me. So I really enjoyed that. And I also love the Sentry suit. I thought his suit looked great. I even like the blonde hair. I know some people have been like, I didn't like the blonde hair. I think the blonde hair looked cool. So, you know, I didn't mind it. This movie also has a really cool score. I don't remember if I pointed that out, but I really like the score in this movie. I think the score is really well done. Obviously, the directing, I think, is well done as well. And I just love the team's chemistry with each other. I think they played off each other very well. Sorry, very wow. You know, and then obviously towards the end when Sentry turns into the Void, I thought that was very cool visually. Especially just like how he's, you know, the Void looking, but he still has the tiny like yellow dots as eyes. I thought that looked really cool. And I really liked seeing the Thunderbolts like going around New York saving people, because that is kind of an issue with recent MCU stuff, is that, you know, you don't see a lot of, you know, like the heroes saving people. Like, yeah, they stop the bad guys and all, but you don't see a lot of them actually saving people. Like it's kind of an issue I have specifically with like Spider-Man, the Spider-Man movies, is that you don't see, you don't see Peter saving people all that much, even though I want to see more of that. But seeing it in this movie I thought was pretty cool. And dude, when Red Guardian saved the little girl, I remember I was just like, oh, okay, that's nice. That's really nice. And then she gets voided. Like, everyone's saying they were shocked. I was shocked too. I almost bursted out laughing, honestly. Because I was shocked too, but I was just like, wow. Yeah, he saves her. I'm like, oh, okay, that was nice. And it just gets voided. I was like, holy shit, they did not just do that. So, yeah, so this movie took some pretty big swings. And then, of course, we see Yelena join the Void. And then we see, you know, all like the different Void rooms with Yelena. We don't see them for the other members, which I do wish we could have seen them for, like, at least maybe Red Guardian and Ghost. But still, it was cool. And Bucky even made a joke about how his was all nice, even though we know that it's not. But yeah, and you know, the whole thing of the Thunderbolts taking down Sentry, and you know, or at least like the Thunderbolts and Bob taking down Sentry, like just, you know, like with basically, you know, like a hug. I really like that, because that is the whole message of the movie, is, you know, the whole team not having purpose and being alone. And so by the end, you know, they have each other, and then with Bob himself too, Bob is the same way as they were. So, you know, that's how they stop the Void, is by, you know, being together, stopping Bob from being someone he's not. And so I think the whole final moment with them all, you know, hugging together, I thought was great and was worth it, because, you know, this team is like a family, you know, like, you know, it's pretty much how like the Guardians are a family, you know, and that's something that makes this team also different than like the Avengers themselves, because yes, say what you want about the Avengers are not really a family though. They're not. They're a great team, but I wouldn't say they're a family, because they're all still very different people. The Thunderbolts are all very similar to each other, and that's why you could call them a family, just like with the Guardians. So, you know, I really enjoyed the ending, and then of course at the very end, they reveal that the asterisk means the new Avengers, and I definitely do not mind it. I definitely don't mind it. I especially think, because I don't think they're gonna be the young Avengers. I don't think they're gonna be the new Avengers for very long, and I'm sure I was thinking of Young Avengers, because I'm sure we're going to get Young Avengers at some point too. But what was I saying? I don't think they're going to be the new Avengers for very long. It's probably only going to be till, you know, like after Secret Wars, that we get like an actual new Avengers team, and then they'll be like, maybe go back to the Thunderbolts, or maybe they'll become the Dark Avengers, because that's what I was theorizing, was that they were going to be the Dark Avengers, not the new Avengers. But hey, as it stands, I really don't mind it, the new Avengers. And I especially loved how in the credit sequence, they are poking fun at, you know, real life and people in real life hating this new Avengers team. But it's like, yeah, it's kind of the point, you know. But yeah, so I don't mind it. I definitely am here for them being the new Avengers. Again, I don't think it's gonna last that long, but for that being it right now, I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. This movie is also very emotional, honestly, like especially at the end. Like I honestly almost got teary-eyed a couple times, like when Red Guardian was talking to Yelena, and at the end when everyone's like having the hug with Bob. This movie just has so much emotion, and I love that. I just love that. And of course, the movie ends also with, you know, just them not even like getting Val in prison or anything. Instead, you know, Yelena whispers they own her, but I just think it's actually worse for Val, if you think about it, being owned by them. I think she probably would rather go to jail, let's be real, than be owned by them. But I don't know. But yeah, and then of course we have the two post-credit scenes. The first one was a nice one with the cereal box. That was nice. Then of course the second post-credit scene, which was filmed just about a month ago apparently, and was by the... Sorry if I heard something. That was my dad, but yeah, the second post-credit scene apparently was filmed only a month ago by the Russo brothers, and it was, of course, teasing Avengers Doomsday with the Fantastic Four ship coming in. I do think that slightly spoils the end of Fantastic Four, but I think a lot of us have already been expecting that, you know, something will happen at the end of that movie that will then bring the Fantastic Four over to the 616 MCU Earth. So I think it was a great post-credit scene itself. So yeah, and I also love all the new looks, especially Bucky's look. I think Bucky's look looks really cool. And I also love, I forgot to bring this up earlier, but I love how John still has like the taco shield in the post-credit scene. Like, because obviously earlier Sentry like bends it and it's like a taco. He still has it like a year later, because it says like a year later in the post-credits. He still has that shield, which is hilarious. If he still has it in Doomsday, that'll be even funnier. But yeah, and then of course it ends with the new Avengers and Bob will return, and I am very, very excited to see this team of Misfits again in Doomsday. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm especially excited to see how they'll handle Sentry against Doctor Doom, because I think Sentry is definitely a character that they're going to want to use to try to, you know, fight against Doctor Doom to show how big of a threat Doom can be. But yeah, overall, I had a lot of fun with this movie. I absolutely loved it. Again, after a few watches, it could become my favorite MCU movie. If not, then it'll definitely still be up there, at least in the top 5. I had a lot of fun with this movie. Here is my Letterboxd review for when I got out of the theater and watched it. Obviously, be sure to follow me on Letterboxd if you want to see my like immediate reaction to movies and, you know, some shows, at least the shows that are on Letterboxd. Yeah, so 5 out of 5. Sorry if you kept hearing the door slamming. My mom just got home from work. But yeah, I love Thunderbolts. I thought it was great. And I'm very excited to see the new Avengers return and Doomsday. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But what did you guys think of the new Avengers? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, as always, hope you enjoyed. And I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.